Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jason, the Headlight Guy. Today I'm coming from MasterTech Custom Coach and Marine out of Elkhart, Indiana. They have another customer with a 2006 Beaver Monterey looking for a headlight upgrade. So I'm just doing a quick little comparison to show the difference between upgrading from halogen to plug-and-play LED to a retrofit and what the benefits of each one of those steps are. So I'm going to come around here and set this up real quick. Alright, first off we're going to turn off the MLED and we're going to start with the halogen setup. I don't know if you can see it, but dead center there is actually a little light meter down there that's actually going to measure the light output. So we're going to start off with the halogen. Now the halogen is coming in at 126 lux on the low beam. Now if I activate the high beam, there's your high beam, and that's coming in at 176 lux on the light meter. Now we'll go back to the low beam really quick. And we're going to concentrate on what's important about light output. I have a little laser pointer here. Now if you look at the light, you can kind of see it stops over here and it stops right about over here. It's very dim, so if we're pretty much working in this big hot spot. And if you notice, there's a little step that goes right there. And this is what we call our normal headlight DOT cutoff step when it comes to projectors. So we're going to concentrate on that area, and that's where the main focus of light is. Now when I activate the MLED, you're going to see this overtakes, sorry, that was a high beam. Alright, now there is our MLED projector. Now the MLED projector is actually one of the best performing projectors on the market right now, and it actually beats out most of the HID projectors. Now if you take a look, the halogen is still activated, and I'll deactivate that now. It's off. You can see how very little impact that actually has versus the MLED. And then on MLED, you can see the light continues to keep going, and the light would also continue to keep going onto that side as well. But we're limited by space. They're very busy in the facility, so we don't have much room to work with. But as again, we have our cutoff here, which also controls how much controls the light output. So we don't have to worry about these lights glaring or blinding anyone while they're driving. Now while we're here, I also have a SV4 LED bulb. The SV4 is actually one of the most powerful and one of the best engineered LED bulbs right now that's available on the market for the 9006 application. Diode Dynamics has not made theirs yet, and for the SL1, Morimoto 2-stroke is also a very good one to use on the market. I got these ones just because of the small form factor, because we are limited a little bit on the space, and this one has a slightly smaller fan, so it would clear the housing cap a little bit better. Alright, now let me deactivate the MLED. Now if you take a look at the LED, it doesn't look like it performs very well. It varies housing by housing. This house, I mean, it does have a little bit of glare. You can kind of see a faint cutoff right there, but it's just like a dead-end slope. And the light is much lower. It's just directly a hot spot. There's no light that's going onto this side, and there's no light going onto this side. So technically the halogen bulb, which was a Sylvania Silver Star Ultra, that actually performed better. And this bulb does 131 lux on the low beam, and it does 184 lux on the high beam, and that's just a center focused light. That's where it's pretty much all the light is being dispersed. Now while we're on the LED, I do want to talk about, you see we have that little cutoff here. And the big problem with a lot of that plug and play LEDs is a lot of people gripe about is the glare, and it does blind other people. And I'll give you an example of the glare. So as you can see, it's already shining directly over here to the side. That's not much light. You don't really need all that light over here to the side, this far forward. And also, if you take a look up at the ceiling, you have light glaring up onto the ceiling. Now, I don't see any scattering up here. It does appear to be a little bit right in that range. And I'll give you a slight demonstration of the glare real quick. It's a low beam. So when we talk about glare, you kind of see how everything else is banding right here. You're gonna see like odd reflections, and I'm trying to keep this same level. But the retrofit, since it has a cutoff shield in there, it keeps everything nice and level, and it doesn't blind other people. So now we're just going to do the quick comparison between the S4 LED and the MLED. So MLED is off. MLED is on right now, and I'm going to turn on the SV4 and see if we see any real impact. See how it just scatters the light? And another thing to note about the MLED, the projector I was talking about, the shield, this also has a foreground limiter shield, so you don't get too much light directly in front of the vehicle. And you can kind of see that lit up right down here. So that keeps all the light in front of the driver, and it's not directly in front of you as you're driving. And that's really important, so you can see distance down the road. Now, when I activate the high beam on the MLED, it does very well. Now, the MLED did 594 lux on the low beam, and it did 812 lux on the high beam on the meter. So now I will go ahead and I will activate the high beam on the SV4 and see if that has any impact. As you can see, it didn't really do anything to overpower the MLED. There we go. There's a high beam. Let's try that one more time. And MLED still wins. Now, you shouldn't be driving with your high beams on for a long period of time, as it could blind other people, cause accidents, etc. I know it might sound a bit dramatic, but there's actually people out there that have eye conditions, and it does bother them while they're driving. So temporary blinding due to glare actually can cause an accident while driving. So you shouldn't be driving with your high beams on all the time. But if you do need your high beam, the MLED projector actually gives you all the high beam that you need. It has a great width, has a great distance, and a great little hotspot. Now, if you have any other questions or concerns about lighting, feel free to shoot me a message. If you have an RV, feel free to reach out to Master Tech RV and Custom Coach and Marine out of Elkhart, Indiana, and we can get you set up with a nice little light setup for your RV.